This is the 40 Days for Life podcast with your host, Sean Carney.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the 40 Days for Life podcast. I'm Sean Carney, the president of 40 Days for Life, and your host for this podcast, which is dedicated to helping you end abortion where you live. The Fertility Crisis Part 2. Uplifting podcast episode of the century. The last one was depressing, I guess, in content, but we had a lot of fun doing it. I think it was a lively, podcast, and so that is part 1. You can listen to part 2 without listening to part 1, but it is better to listen to part 1 first. So go back to last week's podcast and listen to that, or watch that. That was the dark, dire, horrific situation we have found ourselves in, particularly in the West. Today is the uplifting, positive, hopeful news, and so you can look forward to that. And somebody who can't stand positive and hopeful news is my co-host, Mr. Steve Carlin.
I am very hopeful and positive today because in between recording episodes, part 1 and part 2, Jody here at the headquarters tried my 20-year cheddar and liked it.
Okay, so I hired Jody, as you know, and Jody's from East Texas, where I'm from. Jody is obviously a woman from East Texas, and they lie to people about compliments. It's a respectable, Southern, nice etiquette thing to do. Jody has perfected it, and so I would give that 50-50, probably actually.
I saw her try a second piece.
They're just professionals.
She's that good.
Yes.
Oh,
oh my
God,
I've never had cheese like this in my life.
Did you try it, Ramona, yet?
I have not tried it.
Okay. What part of Texas are you from?
North Texas.
Is that a polite part?
Yes.
I would say yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm not getting data out of Ramona either.
But East Texas is like the old South, and so they're going, darling, this is the best cheese I ever had, and they go puke it in the corner. And so I'm just telling you, Jody could have liked it, but I would say probably maybe 70-30. 70-30.
I'll tell you the truth, Steve, to stay out of confession. How about that?
Right. I saw Hannah.
It's not a sin to lie about his. Oh, she winked at me.
I think Hannah tried it, and I saw a disgusted face. It looked bad.
Yeah, and she's from San Antonio, and they're very polite. So,
Is there an impolite part of Texas?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Like those people from Northwest Texas, the Panhandle.
This is how you know the implants.
Have you ever
right?
driven into the state?
I mean, transplants, not implants.
You've only flown here, right? Have you ever driven in?
No, it's very far.
Oh, I figured that. But when you drive into Texas, we have the beautiful Texas flag, and it says, "Welcome to Texas. Drive the friendly way, the Texas way."
Okay.
So it's now I think we're a little too friendly because you have people going 60 when it's a 75-mile-an-hour speed limit. But
This is how you know the transplants. I said implants originally. I was thinking about something else. But this is how we can tell the transplants versus the natives is how they drive.
Is how they drive. And I've spent summers and spent a lot of time in New Jersey and New York, and it's so awesome and fun to just drive. And Philly, too, because people are so rude. They're going fast. There's no edit. Nobody's offended when you get cut off or whatever. I was like, we need a little slice of this, okay? And so we're just way too nice.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Yeah,
I've never, in my wildest dreams, would have imagined somebody saying, "We need more Philly drivers." And
they go. It's green. Move. And then they honk all the time in New York and Jersey. And so.
That's true, because I've driven not into Texas to see the sign, but I've driven within Texas quite a bit, and you all drive very, very slowly.
Oh, look at that, a pine tree. Yes, they're everywhere. Keep going.
Where do we drive slow? We do not drive slow where I'm at.
Everywhere.
It's like Texas Motor Speedway where I'm at.
After we lived in Virginia and came back, we were like, oh my word, everybody drives so slow. And it's just...
Well, that's because there's a lot of traffic. There's nowhere to go.
No, I'm talking about open freeway.
You're going to find out today, Steve Carlin.
You're going up to Dallas later,
Yes.
so you're definitely... And it goes from 2-lane to 9 lanes, and that's when... And you just go, and people are like, woo, look at that, dude. There's another
Who
barbecue.
are you riding with?
No, I can read people's faces. when they're driving, and I know it is. It's like, boy, there's some pretty country out here. Look at them cows. Go. We're on
You know what? I can relate to that. I feel like there's two speeds. There's like turtle speed,
right,
and then there's like Texas Motor Speedway speed.
I'm not being derogatory towards old people or like the stereotype. These are just normal Texans, and this is my only complaint.
That's fair.
But I'll trade that for the wonderful hospitality and the lying about your cheese being good.
No one honking at you at a red light.
If
you honk, you're not from Texas.
You're rude and it's awful. And of course, not a lot of people honk in Texas because everybody's packing. So there is that part of like this.
You're honking at me, boy.
This is California. So yeah, but yeah. I'm interested in your feedback. You're driving him.
I am.
That's going to be fun.
That's what my husband said.
You're going to have to.
He's going to have to buckle up.
Don't like the cheese. And
take it out.
Every 10 miles, Steve's like, so honestly, what did you think? You know, really going to be funny.
So you're a fast driver?
I am.
My wife is.
Yeah.
She's from Chicago, and you can take the girl out of Chicago, but you can't take the Chicago out of the girl.
Yeah.
Take him to Woody's. I think I've taken you to Woody's. It's the beef jerky capital of America, they claim. It's definitely Texas.
Is this when you tried to kill me?
No, that was Buc-ee's.
Okay.
That was Buc-ee's. But you have 2 Buc-ee's and a Woody's on the way. Okay, so plenty of stops.
Where's Woody's at?
Woody's is in Centerville.
What highway?
My friend who was the priest there said, Centerville.
Off of what highway?
Centerville. 45.
I've never noticed a Woody's.
There's a Woody's on both sides. You can't escape Woody. And he has.
I wonder is it further south.
Steve,
for me?
the ad is a billboard. This is beautiful for the listeners. The ad's a billboard, and it's a long barbecue pit in the shape of a 6-shooter revolver. And the quote is, "Our pits never stop smoking." It's glorious. Then you go into Woody's. It's nice, and of course, all the dedication to like the veterans, and they have pictures of Marines in Iraq, and it's just fantastic.
But is that between Houston and here?
Yes.
That's why I'm not seeing it, because I cut off before.
Because you don't.
I don't go that far south.
You don't go that far.
Right.
So you will today. Because
definitely go by Buc-ee's. I will definitely go by
You'll
Buc-ee's.
go to Madisonville and go to Buc-ee's, but when you go up, it's like 23 miles past Buc-ee's in Madisonville, you'll hit Woody's.
The sun never sets on the British Empire, and our pits never quit smoking.
Our pits never quit smoking, and they've got some seriously good beef jerky. They've got some good barbecue in there, actually. Woody's barbecue is good. So, wow. The value that this podcast provides the listener just continue. And that's why
now it's time for them to provide some value to us.
It's time for perhaps the listeners to do something for your wonderful hosts and co-hosts. And we have put out an appeal. It's a personal appeal. You can flip the podcast off. We're not asking for money for our mission. We're not even asking you to go out and pray for abortion to end, sadly. We are requesting Packer Cowboy tickets. We have knocked on the doors. We have used our resources. We have come up empty. So we have reached the pit of despair and pathetic.
A pit of despair that never quits smoking.
Shameless.
Abuse of our positions at 40 Days for Life to ask you, the wonderful, wholesome, innocent listener, to help us somehow get Packer Cowboy tickets. We need at least 3. This is now we're like getting greedy. We would take 4. We would take 6, but at least 3, probably 4, and maybe a parking pass on how well connected you are. So this is how pathetic it is. We went from like, we're definitely going to, I don't think this is happening. We got to do a request on the podcast. So anyways, I say that Jody's lying 70%, 30%. I give us 2%, 98% chance.
Oh, no, it's higher than that.
Yeah, we got to have faith in the listeners. They definitely want us to go to the game. And the pictures you would get from our experience, maybe we could just record an episode, like in the parking lot of Lambeau.
That would be a great idea.
Unbelievable.
Like Super Bowl Radio Row.
Yeah. And I will throw out a personal humiliation. If somehow a Packer fan gives us the tickets, I'll put the cheese head on again and do another photo. I'll wear like a Cowboys jersey with the cheese head on it for the photo, just as a sign of my humility and gratitude. Ramona's not even offended that she's not invited to this. It's just you happen to be here, recording on the day that we found out we're probably not going to the game unless we go full blown desperation.
I'm rooting for you, though.
I know. We appreciate that. Really appreciate that. We'll see. I know there's other things in life, but not for us right now.
No,
This is pretty much
no,
it.
this is it. I do have some listener feedback.
Excellent.
This is from Teresa. Excellent podcast. I thought I was going to be bored, but nope.
You know how to speak to my core, Baxter. That's it. That's all we need. I thought I would be bored, but no. Oh gosh, that's really funny. Actually, that's one of our goals in this podcast is that it is listenable, given the topic. Today's topic is happy though. Marriage and fertility, part 2. Part 1 is the bad news that we've gotten ourselves into this absolute mess and no one's getting married. That's the summary of it. The model of marital happiness. We're now going on the positive because I started singing Aerosmith earlier on the last episode because I couldn't help myself. Just what about being full-blown romance, in love, cheeseball, turn up the Eric Clapton, we're going for it. That can't get lost in human nature.
I'm assuming you're meaning the Eric Clapton, like Wonderful Tonight, and not the cocaine song?
Correct. Although everybody has their struggles. But yeah, we're not insulting Eric Clapton. He's, it could be like his daughter that ends up giving us the tickets. But yeah.
Layla, where he took George Harrison's wife?
Yeah, Layla. And everybody just sings it. And then you're like, got me on my knees, Layla. And you're like, he stole the guy's wife. It's terrible.
We've all been there.
What sang Lady in Red? I love that song.
I don't know.
Lady in Red. Come on.
Oh, my God.
Who sang that? Producer John. I know you sang this to Eve when you proposed. Who sang that? He's like a one and done. I don't know.
A one-hit wonder? Was he a
He's
one-hit
like a one-hit wonder. Email us at podcast4daysforlife.com if you know who sang Lady in Red. Great 80s romance song. Super cheesy.
Did you all have a song with your spouses?
Yeah, It Crossed My Heart by George Strait. And we
right.
danced to it at our wedding.
Very good.
Because when
feel
it
like we had
starts
a lot.
to storm, I'll still be there.
Oh.
And if not, you can still make Cheyenne.
I know. That's the other part of it. Gotta go now, baby. If I hurry, I can still make Cheyenne. That's right. I'll turn my truck to that Wyoming line.
Oh.
What's your song?
We had several. God Bless the Broken Road was.
That's a Rascal Flatts.
Yes,
Great song. Great song.
It suited us.
Really
very
good
well.
song. Good choice.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Ours was an early 90s one-hit wonder called To Be With You by a guy named Mr. Big, 2 G's.
Yeah. I remember that
Look,
one.
for some reason, I'm the only one singing, but let's hear it.
I'm the one who wants to
Be with you.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, that's a good. Come on, baby. Come
Yep.
on over. That's a great song. I didn't realize he was a one-hit wonder.
As far as I know, I don't know any other songs by him.
I think that was a one-hit wonder.
I think we probably need to move on because the singing is going to crush our ticket chances to the game. Okay, so we have all these stereotypes into our heads, which is men are doofuses. We have sort of the Homer Simpson model of parenting. Women just spend their lives nagging men, and no wonder it doesn't appeal. It's kind of interesting on this note. I do not know her name, and I don't know who she is. Somebody sent me the clip of her being interviewed. But there's a famous feminist comedian, former feminist, I guess, and she kind of changed her view on men. And she was being interviewed, and she said, I was dating this guy, and we had a fight. And they were living together. And she said, well, you're just mad because I challenge you. And her boyfriend looked at her and said, what man on earth wants to come home and be challenged? And she said, I just never thought, I thought I was all tough and I was like elevating myself in his eyes. And it was like this should be easy and fun. And your job's not here to sit here and like challenge me. I thought it was really good admission. She said it completely changed my entire outlook of men and marriage.
Wow.
was really honest.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's a really, really good point. And so the stereotypes, I think, sometimes get in the way of that.
Yeah, they do. And there's a cottage industry of it because it gets clicks, right? Like, I wonder if everybody we made an agreement to all turn off social media tomorrow, how long it would take before things got back to normal. All this stuff, I think, is just created by the social media, advice columns, movies, all of them that make marriage look like a battle, not like a loving relationship. Target made some headlines back before Valentine's Day because they were selling a shirt that just said, "Dump him." And that's kind of I don't know. Why would that appeal?
It's very pro-lesbian. I don't know if that was the goal, but the dump him, and then if you had guys wearing shirts that said dump her, is that worse? Is that the same? It's like this empowering thing. Why are we obsessed with being alone?
I don't know, but I always am frustrated with the amount of messaging that men are just these horrible creatures. Like that's frustrating to me. It's always this type of thing, this type of messaging, dump him. But when you say, oh, what if they had one that said dump her, I think women would lose their minds.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the converse of that, and thank you for defending men. We'll defend women here a little bit. A lot of men have gone crazy with this red pill thing where they're just assuming the worst about women, and the reason that they can't get a date or find a wife is because women are awful just entirely. And the suspicion and the contempt just doesn't have to be there. It doesn't need to be like that.
I still think the men are worse. Because this whole wave of pornography, the generation of kids that grew up with just internet pornography and it killing their desire for a real relationship or hindered their ability to just talk to a girl, it is worse. And I know there's a issue with women doing that too, but the crisis of men has become insane.
But it's also becoming a crisis of women recently.
Right.
Like I'm seeing so much of an increase of, for example, female teachers, school teachers. Like everywhere I turn, I'm seeing these stories.
Sleeping with the high school kids.
Yes. And then, of course, people start arguing about the double standard of like, why aren't we calling this rape?
Because
why do we call this had sex with school? And they're like, if it was reversed and this was a male teacher, we would say he,
Post on Twitter, now X.
Oh, yeah.
What a terrible rebrand. And this woman was saying, I was trying to explain to my wife how awful it is to be catcalled in public all the time. And he just didn't get it. So I got a few of my girlfriends to like, this is where he runs. Go catcall him from the bushes or whatever. She said, he came back so confident, so happy.
And there's examples in law, but we don't need to get totally into it. But I mean, it is different. And if you go into a girl's locker room and you talk about the older teacher, they're like, creep. Mm-hmm. And if the 17-year-old goes in and talks about so-and-so flirting with him, he gets high fives. And that's the way it works because men and women are different. I know there's exceptions, but this whole, your point is the scary thing, which is, why is this in the news every day?
Exactly.
Like, can't this girl or guy, the teachers, can't they go and get a date of someone, their own age?
Well, they're predators. You know what I mean? It's like, how has this become a thing? I'm seeing it all the time. And so to your point about, men having this picture of women like, and you mentioned the pornography thing. And it's like, well, I think that's also becoming an issue with women too.
Yeah. It's probably the power thing with women, and I'm sure with the men, but yeah.
This is an interesting thing that you use the word power, though, because I feel like so much of the widening gulf between men and women is a question of power. Like, who's got the power? I want equal power. No. Yeah. And like I said, it doesn't need to be that way. Like, we can just model healthy relationships. Speak well of your spouse. Don't share your spouse's shortcomings or failings with others. And sometimes it can be a fake it until you make it type of thing. Like everyone goes through rough patches or difficult times. Just do the right thing and say the right thing. And a lot of times the affection returns pretty quickly after that.
And don't complain. Mm-hmm. That's probably, 90% of it. Definitely don't complain about your spouse or your marriage outside of them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just be positive. And like you said, everybody has rough patches, but there's just something about being in this together, and not wanting to do it with anybody else, of just enduring the daily schedule and the grind and just, life itself.
Laura's got a great line where if we've something we're just not looking forward to, a season of life, something that's difficult, we have to deal with it, I'm frustrated. She's like, Steve, we're scrappy.
This is every late fall. Yeah. Get in the winter, we're scrappy. I like that. It's scrappy, yeah. And we say the grind. Sure. We have to go through the next 6 weeks is just we're plowing through. I always say plowing through. And there is you don't want to merely survive, you want to thrive. Sometimes I just need to survive. Thriving's not on the table. I'm a realist. You look at what we have to do over a certain amount of time, or what we got to, whatever it is. It's like, no, we're surviving here. That's fine sometimes.
Well, there's hills and valleys in
Yes.
life, and there's hills and valleys in marriage, and you may be going through a valley and trying to survive, but that's fine. So
Ain't no mountain high enough. Wow, we're really balancing out the music in this one. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Speaking of the men, being a man worth marrying.
Yeah, this is a decidedly asymmetrical point on this outline, but women have turned away from marriage more than men have for the first time, really, and as far as I have seen recorded.
Statistically, not the world, according to Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More men want to marry than women want to marry.
Which is unheard of.
Yeah, crazy. And there's a tendency to blame women for all of this. And it's not entirely unfounded. There are some real issues, I think, on both sides of the gender gap. But this sentiment has contributed toward this misogynistic, I think what they call manosphere, or the red pill ideology, where it just, for all the talk about toxic masculinity, this truly is toxic. Just reducing women, objectifying women, disparaging women, carte blanche. And it's not good. And I think this is a cop-out. And I think a lot of men are like, oh, women don't want to get married anymore. They're too career-oriented. They're liberal. They're progressive. They are feminist. And that has become a license to just retreat to this world of video games, marijuana, sports gambling, all of the degeneracy that has become such a profitable industry.
And accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is just so accessible. And I think maybe the trend for men, and hopefully all young people, is that you just wear yourself out with access to everything, and so you want a simpler life, And we see the trend if you just look at Lent, turning off your phone or not being on social media. One of my kids and all their friends, it was like a high school thing. They turned their iPhones into black and white during Lent. You can take out the color of your iPhone, as a reminder when you look at it, you don't need it. It's like a small little, yeah. And a bunch of kids, they're like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Why is your phone black and white?" They're like, "Oh yeah, it's Lent." And they explained it to me, and so, which is great. It's like a reminder, if you need to check your phone for something, do it and then get off. It's sort of a dark thing. So, I think that this taking time off of, we just indulged in social media, and now there's I'm off social media, or I'm taking a break, or whatever.
You have to tell everybody on social media that you're not
taking a break off of social media, and then everybody's like, "Good for you," in the comments. But it's one of those where I do think that as we get further into this tech, era that we're in, basically started in 2009. We start to get away from it in that we realize it can just consume us.
Yeah.
And you see the messaging in certain things where I think it was Google that did the ad about put your phone away and have dinner. Remember that last year? It was really a sweet ad. And it was all the family members putting their phones away and having dinner. And it was really good. We're going to see, but it looks like Toy Story 5, we've mentioned this before, is coming out, and the new toy is the iPad, and the girl's addicted to the iPad and doesn't pay attention to Woody and Buzz. Tim Allen's back, so he's no longer a racist. That's great. And so we'll see. That's good if Disney's doing that. That's a huge positive message to children and certainly to parents. But I do think that there will be a trend away from this over time.
And I think men need to really embrace that exodus from all of these low value things, the video games, the marijuana, the social media. The psychologists have this term called locus of control, and it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe that your circumstances are determined by something external, then you are just the helpless victim of circumstance. If you believe that you have some say in the matter, then you do things, and you know what? Maybe I haven't found my wife yet, but instead of smoking marijuana, I'm going to do something valuable, which tends to also be self-fulfilling, because guess what? Women are interested in men who have a vision and see it through and demonstrate the capability of achieving something.
If you're a man and you're halfway responsible and focused, you're going to find a great wife. I don't think it's the same in the opposite.
Oh.
I think there's a lot of good women that just get left behind because of the state of the culture and the state of men. There's more good women available than good men.
So
and I know these like crazies who go after the feminists would blow up at that, but the reality is there's more good women who want a family available than good men.
So the stats that are showing that men are now more interested in marriage than women, do you think that there's just sort of women giving up? They've gotten frustrated that naturally they want it, but they've given up hope?
Yeah, I think it's the way the survey is done.
Okay.
I would love to be wrong, and I'm not trying to be totally down on men, but I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't really know any awesome single guys. And I know a lot of just good single women, whether they're 25 or 45. So so that's just personal for me outside of the surveys or whatever. But just in my life, I'm thinking about there's no guy where I'm like, how in the world is he not married?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
yeah. And this is something that's interesting because so much more, there's some charts that show where do people meet their spouses or their girlfriends or their boyfriends, and everything has collapsed and the apps or online has gone up. And that's sort of an artificial environment because all you can really evaluate on is like a paragraph of text and a photo. And that, like, I don't think most women are choosing men for their looks. Certainly my wife didn't choose a husband for
Come on now, looks. Steve. You got it going on. Not giving yourself enough credit. You're going to be so good looking standing next to me at that Packer game.
That's right.
But it is true. It is true. There's a funny, I don't know her name, but there's another funny comedian. And she said in her 20s, she wanted a guy that was just like ripped and awesome and a good dancer and all that. And she's like, I was in my 20s. Then I got into my 30s. And I was like, I'm scoping out the dad bods.
Yeah.
Dad bod means
let's go.
He eat, me eat, we eat. Thought that was hysterical, right? And it just shows she's like, if I see you got like a 6-pack 35, there's something wrong with you. So it's pretty funny.
I saw a video as we're talking about these videos about like reflecting the culture. It was pretty funny. It was this woman recording a video. She's like, I'm a feminist. I've not really been into masculine men. Like I'm just not. And I went on a date contrary to my nature he was a man's man, just a man's man. And he went and he paid for dinner. And I was like, I can't have this. We need gender equity. So I was going to pay for dessert or leave the tip. And it turns out he prepaid that too. She said, I could literally feel the feminism leaving my body.
That's so funny. Yeah. Yeah, it's this attitude and these boundaries that being doted on makes you less of a person.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lack of humility. The hardest thing to do is to receive a gift,
Yeah.
And or to get praise or whatever, that they receive an award. It's always like the awkward thing.
Or even just allowing a man to open the door for you.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I don't get that.
Yeah.
I never have. I've never understood. It's just being polite and kind.
I had a friend live in San Francisco, and he loved it. Worked for a big tech company, and who will be nameless. Loved his job, great career path. He's with his 2 little kids. He's like 28 years old, and his wife. And he's in a restaurant, and he backs the chair out that his kid's sitting in so the kid can go to the bathroom, and he accidentally bumps this lady behind him. And he's from Texas, and he says, I'm sorry, ma'am. And she goes, you don't know my gender. You went on about ma'am, called the manager over, all that. he paid for dinner. He went home. He sold his apartment. And he moved back to Texas. Like, it was just, and he loved it. Like, so pro. It was just like, it was his first, like, wake up, like, I'm not doing this.
It traumatized him.
I'm just not doing this. It's over. I'm just, these people are crazy, you know? And I'm not risking that, like, just a natural, like, saying sorry to somebody. And
It's the ultimate Davy Crockett, you boys can go to hell.
you go to hell, I'm going to Texas. Yeah. And so, but yeah, that whole... Yeah, that somehow is, I mean, if like my mom would have found out that I took my prom date or took a girl out in high school and I didn't open the door and I didn't pay for everything and didn't like shake their dad's hand and bring flowers to their mom, my mom would have murdered me, you know, and just like buried the body and hid the evidence and gotten away with it. And that's the way things are done. And so
There's nowhere like on an airplane that you see that chivalry is completely dead.
Oh yeah, the bags.
Either helping you with a bag, you're struggling with your bag to get it into the overhead.
The airlines are going to carry us into the next century.
Or what really frustrates me is that men will literally jump up and get in the aisle, and I'm like, oh, I guess what happened to ladies first, right?
Right.
Like, just completely rude. We don't exist anymore.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay, well, this makes sense. You know, we've done this to ourselves. That's kind of my attitude.
A lot of things don't send me into a rage of anger. I'm pretty laid back, and I can just tolerate a lot of stuff, except the people that are rude to the mom who has little kids on the plane and she's doing the best she can.
Yeah.
If you're rude to a mom that is doing that, like really rude, I think that you should be rounded up, put into a camp, and executed. And so I just want to say that publicly. I'm
fine with that.
It's a real political belief that I have. One of the many reasons I can never run for office is like, what should we do with the rude people on the planes that yell at the moms struggling with the kids? Execute them. This is just make airline travel all that much better. Because it's like, they obviously have to travel. They're not growing up going, I want to get on a plane with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. It's my goal in life. You know, they're having to go. They're going to see family. They could be going to a funeral. Who knows?
Well, when I was going to speaking events with my children being under 2, you know, and they all nursed, so I had to take them with me. And I had everybody praying for me. I'm like, please pray for me. Please pray for me that I have it, not for safety, but just for a good experience at the airport.
And they are, and this is particularly, obviously, their husband's not with them. So maybe they're going to meet up with him, but they are very self-aware, right? So they realize the kid's being loud, or they're doing their best. They're never just sitting there letting the kid go crazy. I've never seen that. That'd be different, where you're like, lady, get your kid under control. But people are rude to those people. And the way that you eliminate that risk is you rent your own private plane. So if you can't rent your own private plane, you're stuck with the rest of us. And so I've just seen more adults act improper on planes than children. So anyways,
For sure.
Maybe it's a
100%.
harsh punishment, but I think it's
Very pro-life of you.
Well,
just.
you only have to do it once.
I'm always looking out for the kids.
I noticed this sort of phenomenon of the reluctance to accept help and the importance of offering it at church sometimes. There would be this scenario where the mom's husband is out of town or whatever, maybe traveling for work. And I'll be like, hey, I can help you carry your baby out to the minivan. Oh, no, I'm good. I'm like, well, I'm not going to force it, but you've got your 2-year-old's hand in one hand, your diaper bag in the other, and this big, bulky car seat. Like, I'm happy. Oh, yeah. And they appreciate, but it's interesting how.
Sometimes I've had twice where a mom was like, do you mind getting that? And so, like, I've helped her, and she's like, do you have kids? I was like, no, I have 8. And she's like, okay, good, you get it.
Yeah.
Like, there's this relief.
Well, you know what's really sad is that now women don't even receive help from other women. I was at a restaurant not too long ago, and there was a mom. There was 2 women in the restaurant, so I don't know if they were together or not. But one had her baby on the changing table, and trying to, wrangle the other 2. Meanwhile, she's over here. This baby is loose on this changing table, and I'm like, I'm having an anxiety attack. This baby's gonna spin over, and then that's it, right? And of course, I come out and I'm like, hey, Mama, do you want me to grab the baby for you? I can help you with the. No, I've got it. Thank you. And I was like, okay, I'm out of here.
You did the right thing.
You got this, girl. You got this.
You did the right thing. You did the right thing. And with guys, we're always afraid of being accused of being a creep. So you can't like offer, can I carry your baby for you? But so we have to.
I'm just trying to prevent the baby from dying on the concrete floor. That's it. You know, you could use a hand, but whatever. You got it. More power to you.
Yeah. No. Can I help the baby?
Just one mom offering help to the other mom, you know?
Gosh, a few weeks ago, I was flying. It was a late night flight from Pittsburgh down to South Florida. And we left at like 7 or 8 at night. And so we landed at 11 o'clock at night. And there was a mom in front of me with a kid. And the kid was being bad, and she was handling it right. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, those are the night flights. Everybody's wanting to get on and go to sleep, and it's over. And so I just felt really bad for her. And I was on my whole thing, who needs to be rounded up and be executed. I'll point him out. And everybody was nice to her. It was actually encouraging because I thought, this is bad. Like, I felt bad for her. And so, anyway.
Most people, I think, in the end, are good.
I do too.
You get the people who, Luke Bryan.
See? Our guy, he would be really nice to a mom struggling with kids. He's not on the execution. He's not on the Sean Carney execution list.
Like, the bad apples get the attention, but I think I get nervous. Like, my suffering when you've got the baby who's going bonkers on the plane is I get worried for the mom.
Yeah, me too.
And I think everybody feels that way.
I do too. And that's why the person who doesn't fit into that global sort of feeling of like, we all kind of feel bad for the mom, we're doing our part. At least we don't have our own kids with us. Like, you're sitting there going, I'm glad I'm not having to take care of a little kid. You can think that at worst. But the person who just overcomes all that and is like rude.
But also be the man who comes to her rescue on the plane. You might find a date. You might have a woman.
You may end up in jail. I don't think you're.
No, I'm saying the women.
Put yourself in our shoes,
the single women on the plane.
The single mom on the plane.
No, the single women.
The single
are paying attention. Paying attention.
This is good.
Paying attention to the guy.
So yeah,
who's coming
ma'am.
Yes.
I can help. It's like picking up the puppy off the street. Exactly. I see. So you go up and you notice 3 rows back, there's this single lady, and I'm going to work my magic by helping the mom. And she's like, that's so cute.
Yes.
So you help the mom.
He's a family man.
He takes the bag. Yep. He's obviously is not married. That's a different story. So he takes the bag and gives it to her. Anything else you need? And then 3 rows back, what are you doing Saturday night?
Exactly.
And it's happily ever after. That was very romantic. Yeah. That's a real rom-com.
Yes. Women are paying attention. So when you're saying men be the man worth marrying, or you've got to model it everywhere.
If you're the guy
everywhere.
That's like murmuring, like, shut that kid up. Then the single lady, she's like, you're a dirtbag.
Yeah. No chance.
Good.
No chance for a date.
Again, the value that this podcast provides just continues to astound me. Okay. I don't know where we are.
Number 3.
Great. Parents encourage your kids to get married. I'm in a bubble here. All of our in-laws and parents have done that. So
it's not super common, though. There's a lot of even Christian parents, conservative parents who are still kind of drinking the Kool-Aid that, you got to be ready, you got to be established, you've got to, like you were talking about, have the $250,000 in a money market account.
I wonder if those people are bitter. Are they unhappily married?
Who?
The ones who are saying, you know, wait, have your career, blah, 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 blah. Those parents.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you bitter? Are you unhappy?
They have to be.
Because why wouldn't you encourage your children to be married and be happy like you and your husband? That doesn't make sense.
I think there's there could be a small resentment that actually could be justified in some cases, but it's a midlife crisis. It's a down point, like we're out of money or the car's broke or
it's
whatever.
Perimenopause.
It's menopause.
I was hormonal when I said that, honey.
Yeah, I was hormonal when I said that. But there's just like it could be an exhaustion of life. But I don't know. I was just very fortunate. I mean, my in-laws were just so enthusiastic with all of our marriages. And, you know, they didn't have it made in the sun. You know, they had tough times. But it's just, I don't know. It's just one of those, like, it's exciting. And if you like the person that your kid is dating or marrying, I don't know. I don't know why there's not the reverse.
Right.
Of like, okay, he's not the one. Who else is out there? The little bit of not the generation of like the 1860s and 1870s of like, you better find yourself a man and marry him, But we need a little bit of that, of just nobody's good enough, or you delay and you delay, and a woman wants to be proposed to, or maybe she doesn't want to be proposed to. So when is she? Like, I don't know why there's not a fear of not finding anyone. And I know that sounds
because
horrible.
this illusion of unlimited choice. You've got more access to more people than ever before on the apps, or people can travel more. It just feels like the whole world is your oyster, but it's not true.
How many people do y'all, well, you specifically, because we're the same age exactly. How many people do you know that got married young that are divorced today out of like your little circle?
One.
Me too. Same. And I don't talk.
They got married young.
Got married young and
Or divorced
ended up
today.
divorced.
I know of one off the top of my head for sure.
And mine is one also. And mine is out of like 50 couples that I'm thinking about through high school and college. I mean, a lot of people. And the one is surprising, and I don't know, I don't talk to him anymore.
That number has started to go up a little bit recently in my
Maybe
circle.
it does, but that's pretty remarkable. Of just, we know a lot of people that got married in their 20s. And
Who are still married.
it's fine.
Yeah.
And so the whole fear thing is I think can be very, very real. And that doesn't mean that you settle. I have a good friend who broke off an engagement like during marriage prep, and both of them ended up marrying other people and have a lot of kids and are totally happy. That's what discernment's for. I mean, that's an extreme thing, is to break off your engagement. But, it's just one of those things where you have to, if that's what you want. And I think one of our point in this podcast and the last episode is it's odd not to want that or to even hate it.
Yeah, I think you could say pathological. I don't think that would be too extreme. It is contrary to the nature of the human person to not want that.
Yeah.
I found this is something I remember reading way back in 2009. It's not even on the internet anymore. I had to look at the Wayback Internet Archives machine to find it. Yeah, but it's a quote from a writer named Robert Stacy McCain. And I've found compelling for many years now. He said, many parents who consider themselves Christian conservatives strongly caution their children against early marriage and early parenthood, since these are perceived as obstacles to obtaining middle classness. If a 19-year-old returns from her freshman year at college to announce that she is a lesbian, her Christian parents may not approve, but they will still love and cherish their child. Let the same 19-year-old announce that she is marrying her boyfriend to start a family. This would drive her Christian conservative parents to the verge of suicidal grief. You're ruining your life.
Is that true?
I think in many cases it is.
I'll take an early married daughter over a lesbian.
Right, but I don't think
We don't count. No, we don't count.
I was visiting a 40 Days for Life vigil in California one time years ago, and I was having dinner with a number of 40 Days for Life participants, and there's one of the ladies was explaining that her daughter in her like mid-20s or whatever was just nowhere near interested in settling down and having a family. She was focused on her like academic career in physics or something like that, which nothing against the academic career in physics, but I just don't think that's a natural thing to be in your mid-20s, like women or men, and have no interest because you're focusing on something else entirely.
But it's the either or that's the lie. You can go get a PhD in physics and be dating someone or be engaged or be married.
The other lie is that early marriage and early parenthood are obstacles to obtaining middle classness. Marriage is your ticket to middle class.
The opposite.
Yes, exactly.
And all the data says that. You get married and have a kid early, you're going to be successful, more likely than not. And that could be anything, but whatever your trade is, you're going to get better at it and over time make more money. All the studies show that. And we've talked about that on the podcast. And so I've never understood that.
One of the greatest case studies we have of that, something we reference often, is that article that the Washington Post did on that couple that didn't abort their twins because of the Texas Heartbeat Act. And
Right.
I don't know what they're up to today. It's been a few years, but
But he was blue collar. He was in the military, and then he had some kind of side business, but then he went back to get some of their trade, and like they moved up in the world.
When they had the babies, he was working at like a Chipotle or something like that.
Yeah,
And
just
he was
trying to-
skateboarding.
That's right.
Right, but he was just getting it done,
Yeah.
like as a dad working at Chipotle, and then the babies came, and he
enlisted, right? Didn't he enlist
yeah.
in the
yeah, he
military?
enlisted,
Yeah.
and then after that, he had some kind of trade that he did, but it was like he was a man, he was motivated, you know, and so
Yeah.
it's not that you have to go to Harvard Law and make $400,000 a year, but just at any level of life, you're going to be better off stable with a family.
And so without those babies, it's quite likely he's still scooping rice and do you want pinto beans or black beans, which fine, great, but it shows the path. Like it doesn't make sense. Oh gosh, now you got more mouths to feed. How are you going to become middle class? Because you do what you have to do.
Or as one of my buddies said, if I hadn't gotten married, I would still be a bartender. Which is like, nothing. World needs plenty of bartenders, as they say in The Departed. But it's one of those like, yeah, it's very true. Like I got my crap together.
Laura always says men must find women particularly compelling because otherwise they seem entirely content to sit around talking about nonsense with their buddies and not doing really much of anything else.
And you can do both.
Yes,
you can
both.
be married and get together and talk about nonsense.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Okay.
Actually, some of us encourage that. Go find a buddy. Go find a friend for a little bit.
Oh yeah. Get out of the house. Go. Yeah. Talk to. Yeah. Okay. Steve's conversation in California.
Yeah, that's the one where I mentioned the physics.
Physics lady.
yeah.
Okay. Drop the myth of being, quote, ready.
We've kind of been covering this already.
Yeah.
This is just, it gets you ready. You don't get ready and then get married, but marriage gets you ready for everything else.
Having a baby, moving across the country, buying a house, getting married, dealing with in-laws, whatever your thing is, it's a roller coaster.
I agree.
And so,
Yeah, because there's that moment of, why did I get myself into
why
this?
am I doing
Woo! I can't believe I'm on this. Ah!
And I was with Seamus last summer. We were on a roller coaster, and I was trying to teach him about life. And I was like, here's the insane thing, son. And we're like getting over the hill. I was like, I paid for us to do this. Like, it's not like we're stranded on a mountain and we're on an adventure for survival. Like, I gave money so that we could do this, you know? And I would do it again. It's amazing. So, yeah, I think that there's a little bit of, it's proper discernment. We need to talk about God, obviously. But if you're called to marry this person, then it will work out.
Yeah.
And it's not like, I think we can over discern. It's certainly the Gen Z is over discerning everything. They're too much in their head, but there's just clear signs of whether this person is the one or there's not. Especially after dating 6 months, a year, certainly 2 years, 3 years. The discernment is there on a practical level. Could I live with this person? Do they drive me crazy? Do they stink? Do they smell good or bad? You know, do we get along? You know, there's some proper discernment. Mm-hmm. And then there's just trust, which is going down the hill in the roller coaster. And you just trust that it's going to work out. And so I think sometimes it gets really, really complicated. And if you're just hemming and hawing, as we say, don't be a wuss.
And don't be so shallow.
I'm not.
People are very shallow. Like they're not looking at the more important things, the most important things.
But it's hard to get out of that. You don't really realize you're shallow until you're committed to something.
That's
I
true.
mean, sometimes it takes getting into a marriage and, you know,
Well, I was thinking about the woman with the Birkenstock guy with the socks and the Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
yeah,
That's the deal breaker?
right. Well, I was extremely an independent person and still am, but thank God marriage and kids have helped me. But when I was high school, very independent. And so I went to, Mary Lisa and I were dating. I went to Canada. And I told her, I'm going to Canada today. She's like, oh, okay. This is 3 months into and so there had to be hey, you should probably tell me if you're doing something, you know? And it was our early years of marriage. And then especially with the pro-life stuff in 40 Days for Life, I mean, just 5-10 years into our marriage, you know, the funniest example was I was packing and she's like, why are you getting your passport? And I said, because I'm going to Colombia. And she's like, I know, but that's only it's South Carolina. And I was like, no, I'm going to the country Colombia tomorrow. She's like, you didn't really clarify that. Like, she's like Columbia with AK-47s at the hotels. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool, But that's just that she has helped me along the way of just this living in my own world and not telling her, yeah, stop by the store on the way home. You just tell me if you're gonna do that so I can prepare. But that's just part of growing up. And maybe we're afraid of that. Maybe we're afraid of having to, communicate or be responsible for something. But all the data shows that once you sign up for stuff, it's awesome, which goes back to our great roller coaster analogy. Simplify weddings. I'm going to have a controversial take on this. Go ahead.
I think you've got this expectation of lavish weddings that lead couples to postpone marriage. And so they're ready for marriage, but they're not ready for the $36,000 bill that comes afterward. Not ready for the Instagram-worthy marriage.
I think that here's my take. I think we've talked about this. It's too much of a backlash. I hear a lot of, they didn't want anything nice. They just wanted a simple little thing, which is great if you want that. But you get married once. And I think that you, as far as like spending, whatever the amount is, you should spend what you can afford.
Mm-hmm. Okay?
Right. But this whole like downplaying, we've downplayed marriage a lot. Now we just get divorced. But the wedding itself, if I go to a wedding and it's nice, I'm not complaining because it means something. It's the biggest event of this couple's life. And if people are like, ooh, the invitations are nice, it's like they must have been able to afford them. Good for them. Marriage is important. If it's in a barn, which I've been to, in a reception, great. This is awesome, but there's a celebration. I think this whole like, we only had 10 people, we didn't want anything extravagant, we just had meatballs and all of that, which is fine if that's what you want, but there's like a bragging about how your wedding's not very nice, and that's weird.
I do think that's weird. I do also think that when you said the invitations were nice, they must have been able to afford it. That's doing a lot of heavy lifting in that claim. I think there are a lot of people who are going into big debt for it, and it doesn't set you off on the right foot for marriage.
I agree. But the response to that is how we got here, which is we should wait another year and save more money instead of spending less. But I do think people go and be like, well, we're going to save up more money because we want to have a nice wedding, then we want to buy a house and all of that. And I do think that I think also I have a lot of compassion in this area because they don't teach personal finance anymore, which we desperately need. Mm-hmm. And so nobody knows how to manage money. I mean, you have two single people with full-time jobs and they can't afford a $25,000 wedding. That probably shouldn't be the case, or the parents can't afford it. Mm-hmm. And I understand there's different circumstances, but the whole like we want to overspend. And weddings are too expensive now, but I think that there's this backlash against having a decent wedding. I have 5 daughters, right? So I'm naturally going to be capped at just how much I can spend, right? But I would want to spend a lot. Like if I could, I'm going to spend as much as I can. But the desire should be. And I'm a recipient of this because Mary Lisa is the only daughter in her family, and her parents gave us an awesome wedding. We had 400 people. It was at a convention center in East Texas, but we had a sit down meal, and it was fun, and they had beer and wine, and it was a great time, and it was great. But nobody would have gone to our wedding and been like, it's extravagant, but they would have said, oh, this is a nice wedding. Mm-hmm. And I just think that the desire, my father-in-law spent what he could, but if he was a multi-millionaire, he probably would have spent more. And I think that's a good desire. Like, I hate these dads that are like, weddings are expensive. Yeah. Because your daughter wants to get married and somebody wants to marry her. Nobody's running around saying that they're cheap. But they're saying it like your transmission went out.
You don't need to give 50 head of cattle anymore. This isn't.
I know. And also, your life if your car goes out, that's a pain when the washing machine goes out. But eventually your daughter could get married, and at worst you have a year to prepare. And
you don't have to spend $25,000 on a dress.
You don't have to spend $50,000 on the wedding or the dress or whatever.
Well, I think that's the point I'm making here.
Right.
Is everything is to the max. The marketing is insane. And I don't think it needs to be like that or should be like that. I'm not advocating the iconoclasm of like, we're wearing jeans to our wedding. Like, I don't.
That's a big deal in East Texas, by the way. They do
is
the
it?
Wranglers and the tails.
Okay. Well,
The Western.
my apologies to
too.
those who are offended.
And they're spending like $200 on the tux rentals because I rented them in high school. Yeah.
But I think I don't think you go deliberately casual. But I think you do what you can with your means. One of the best weddings I was ever at, it was a couple, they were young, so they didn't have a lot of money. They came from big families, didn't have a lot of money. So they were limited in their means. But the mass was beautiful. The bishop presided. And then they realized we can't feed everybody steak at the reception. And so what they did was it was like sub sandwiches, box wine, and then they put together the most elegant dessert table with every delicious dessert. So it's kind of a way of saying, look, this is what we can do. This is to show that this is still special. We're still doing something here, but it's within the means. And because they were just a young, in love, chaste couple, it was a wonderful thing. And I think it was better than had they waited 18 months until they could save up and have fed everybody steak. It's kind of the COVID wedding argument that we had a few episodes ago.
Yeah. It's very similar. And I would be interested in, because you and I, we don't know what we're talking about yet.
Right.
Because we haven't done. So I may come back in 10 years and be like, these freaking weddings.
I can't
kids will be
complain.
single.
We're Hispanic, and we have sponsors for everything that contribute. Like someone contributes, buys the cake. Someone pays for
See?
the DJ. Someone pays. Like it's a whole family affair.
I've just
So
decided before my
You're
girls
gonna
get
become
engaged, I'm
Hispanic?
going to become Mexican.
I
How does
agree.
that? How do I eat enough of it? I got to learn the language
You
now.
can identify
I
as
can
whatever you want.
identify as a Mexican.
Yes.
That's what needs to happen. That sounds like an Irish name. It's not. It's Spanish. Carne, definitely Spanish.
Carne.
Chili con carne. But yeah, we need. That's what my friends called me. In,
Sean Carne.
like third grade, chili con carne. Yeah, so we could change on this. We're definitely too young to have a real opinion. So I'm saying this, I don't have a daughter engaged. I don't have any of this. But I personally am looking forward to giving my kids a wedding. Like
Sure.
that gets me excited. And I know it's a bill and you got to and the stress part of it I see as worth it. It's not if our transmission goes out and you're just like, you know, it's expensive and it's worth it, or it's a cost and it's worth it, depending on, you know, what you end up spending. But I don't like the downplaying of it. And I do understand. I've had friends that had a valid divorce of a horrible situation, and then they got remarried when they were like 45, and they had a small little thing, and they weren't gonna, because they had already been married once, and it was just one of those things.
So same couple remarrying each other?
No.
no,
A divorced like lady who
Okay,
met,
got
you
it.
know, married the scumbag and then got an annulment and then got remarried and wanted something just kind of small. I kind of get all that, like older in age, but yeah, just I don't know, giving your daughter a wedding, to me, it's kind of the man thing. I've just heard so many men talk about, the weddings. And what if your daughter
so
heard
sad.
that? Like, I don't know. Well, maybe she could find some other guy to walk her down the aisle.
For
You know?
real, yeah.
And if it was just financial, then that reduces your relationship to your daughter. And my daughters are like, we don't want you to have to spend a lot of money and all of that. And
I think we're more on the same page. I think you do what you can within your means, but there's just a large industry dedicated to taking people beyond their means.
so if in a few years, if one of my kids is getting married and you come to the wedding and you look around and you're like, Sean was all talk. This was cheap. Like, he's got pig in the blankets. What is he talking about?
Not
I
if
want
you
to give
become
my
Mexican,
daughters a
Sean.
great wedding.
Not if you become Hispanic.
We're
remember?
drinking light
It's gonna be
beer.
amazing.
Cash bar nonsense.
That's a cash bar. What a cheap. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
That'll be a different story.
Yes.
Yes.
It for sure will be. For sure will be. If I have my personal preference, we're having a fajita bar.
Exactly.
That's just on the table. Big margarita machine. See? I'm already getting excited. Maybe some Dos Equis. Okay. We're getting hungry here. Don't chase perfection.
We talked a little bit about this, that there's a natural fear of divorce because of how high the divorce rate was for the younger generation's parents and grandparents. But I would say that's led to an overcorrection where people are now looking for this very scientific approach. Like there's matchmaking services and they're running algorithms on who you're compatible with and all sorts of nonsense like that. And I think that's silly. I like to quote Chesterton a lot on the podcast, and he has this great line about how I can imagine in the future people will be getting scientists and experts to help them choose a wife. Like, well, we're here.
We're here.
Welcome. It's not working that great. Successful marriages aren't because you found the, quote, right person necessarily, as much as you decided that person was going to be the right person come hell or high water. Like, the commitment is the important part. And that's where I think, I want to be clear, I'm not advocating arranged marriages, but I think there's something...
There's an argument for it. So everybody said, oh my gosh, you want to go back to the Stone Ages. We're at 54% divorce rate. And now I come up with maybe we should arrange the marriages, and it's like the worst thing in the world. And then,
Or you could become a 40 Days for Life leader, come to the symposium, and we'll set you up.
go to the vigil. You want to get
That
married.
too.
I mean, I think we're over 50 weddings now.
Wow.
Of volunteers getting married or leaders marrying each other.
Leaders and volunteers.
So
Yep.
we're doing great. Those aren't arranged marriages per se, but they could be.
Could be.
But when you look at the stats of the cultures that do arranged marriages, those marriages are no less satisfying and happy and joyful than when we do it the other way. So again, I want to be clear. Don't take me out of context. I don't need the emails. We're not saying
I want to be
arranged
taken
marriage.
out of context. And I've got a lot of material in this
You do.
podcast where I can be taken out of context.
But I think the gist of it is the lesson, the kernel of truth in it is it's a choice, and it's not about did I get lucky and have the right process that identified these 5 traits, which are the key to the partner that I want. Chesterton, again, he's got a great quote. I have known many happy marriages, but never a compatible one.
Oh, that's just so British. It's outside and he's drinking a bottle of gin, depression. Yeah. None of them compatible. Yeah.
Still happy, just not compatible.
Yeah. No, it's very, very true. So I hope that you got a lot of value out of this. Again, go back and listen to part 1, where we share some of the stats and where we are and where we aren't in demography and the reduction in the number of marriages, certainly the reduction in number of children. And then if you missed that, go back and listen to it. And thank you, Steve. Thank you, Ramona. Please rate, review, share this podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and hit the little bell so that you get the podcast immediately on Mondays instead of Tuesdays, which will start your week.
Don't delay marriage and don't delay listening to the podcast.
And don't delay doing your part in sending Steve and I to the Packer Cowboy game. It's very important for us personally. So we will be forever grateful. God bless you. We will see you next time.